Well, clearly, Jesus is not so much concerned here with how much someone might give to the temple treasury. He's more interested in knowing from where that offering comes. In a nutshell, Jesus is saying, I'm more interested in the gift that tugs on your heartstrings than the gift that pulls on your purse strings. Of course, it could be that my purse strings and my heartstrings are connected. And that's okay if pulling on my heartstrings tends to open my purse even wider. In the story here, Jesus sees the rich folks handing over large sums of money, but the offering isn't coming from their hearts. They're giving from their surplus wealth, so they don't feel the pinch. But the poor widow didn't count her coins before making her offering. She emptied her heart before she emptied her purse. Her heart's generosity wasn't limited by her purse's contents. She had no surplus from which to make an offering. She gave from her poverty, and she gave all that she had. When you give all you have, then there's a hole at the bottom of your purse through which your heart empties out and gives itself away. Let me put a little keener edge on the message here. Even if you are still holding strong against the rising tide of Christmas ads and merchandise and music, you can't escape knowing that the season of giving is right around the corner. The season of giving, the giving season. It's a very interesting term. In my life and in yours, who gives in the giving season? And how much is given? And in the giving season, who gets? And how much do they get? How much will you and I give this year to those who already have enough, if not too much already? And in comparison, how much over the holidays will you and I give to those who have next to nothing? Will our giving be governed by our heartstrings or our purse strings? Will our giving be directed to those who already have more than they need, or to those whose needs are all they know? Celebrating Thanksgiving and Christmas, we tend to stuff ourselves. We even kind of brag about it, which is a shame. We brag about stuffing ourselves with food and drink, and we overspend on gifts and gift wrap, lights and decorations. Americans spend each year about $5 billion on wrapping paper. $5 billion on a product designed to be ripped up and thrown away. Our purse strings will be wide open at the malls and online. Many of us will run up our credit card debt in our efforts to please and surprise those who more often than not don't need what we give them. Will our purse strings open as wide and as generously when charitable organizations make a plea for our assistance? In this season of giving, when we give to those in need, will we find ourselves giving from our surplus, if you will, from the spare change in our Christmas budget? Or will we give until we feel the pinch ourselves? Will we give from our surplus as Jesus observed the rich doing in the temple? Or will we give until we ourselves feel the need of those to whom we're giving. Let me put an even finer edge on this. Allow me to make a proposal. Let me propose that maybe this afternoon, you and I sit down and sketch out what each of us plans to spend on Christmas this year. What we will spend on food, alcohol, gifts, wrapping paper, cards and postage, lights and decorations, parties and entertainment. Make a little budget of that. And then suppose you and I were to ask, whatever I spend on Christmas this year, might I donate an equal amount to charity? Whoa, feel the pinch? That's a real pinch, huh? When you figure what we're going to spend on Christmas for those right around us. Suppose you and I might say, whatever I spend on Christmas gifts, just on Christmas gifts, I'll donate 50% of that, or 25% of that, or 10% of that to charity, to those in need in the giving season. Well, that's my proposal. And rest assured, it's a proposal I present first to myself, and only then to you. None of us is excused from the gospel story's message this morning. Note that the hero in the story is the poorest person in the story, the one who had the least to give. This is a story for every heart, excuse me, every purse, for every one of us. And we hear this story gathered at the Lord's table. Jesus gave from his poverty too. On the cross, he emptied himself out. He emptied out his heart for us and his body and his blood, not for a moment counting the cost. He spent himself for us. And in doing so, he felt much more than a pinch in his giving. With the very same generosity, he offers all of himself to us again this morning in the gift of his body and blood in the Eucharist and communion. May Christ, who gave all of himself for us, lead us to empty out our hearts generously for one another, and especially for those most in need in this season of giving.